Okay, guys, welcome to the Parade of Hearts info session. My name is Jessica Rogers. I'm here with Kansas City Artists Coalition, and we are so excited to partner with this amazing event, new to Kansas City. Tonight we have Mary and Jen, who are the co-directors of the Parade of Hearts, here to inform us on everything about the application process. They are going to share a short video with us and kind of then dig into the application step by step. As you have questions come up, feel free to put them in the chat box as they come to your mind, and we'll address all of the questions at the end. And we're just really excited to have them here and explain this wonderful event for artists in Kansas City. I understand some people weren't able to see those links I put in the chat box, so I'll go ahead and reshare those a couple times throughout the talk. And welcome, everyone. I'm going to hand it over to Mary and Jen. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Jessica. What a nice welcome. We're so excited to be here with you all tonight. Thank you so much for attending this. We always love sharing this story of why this is happening and how it came about. So we're gonna, like Jessica said, share a little bit about why this is happening, how important it is for this region, and we're going to show a little video to kick it off.
A chance to put the neighbor back into the neighborhood.
I want to be a part of building community pride.
I want people to be fed, housed, and advocated for.
Equality.
I want green energy to not be colorblind.
I want to make the world better.
I want to create.
I want to experience life again.
Let's cheers the healthcare workers, the first responders, and the businesses.
I want us to grow together.
I want people to be happy. I want my community to stay loving.
I want for us to be more
I want
towards each other.
racial harmony and
I want time
I want to
to
be
grow.
able to go to conferences.
I want to spend time with my extended family.
I want to feel heard.
Persevered and we're back together.
I want to not be afraid to hug. I want to fall. I want
the status quo in Kansas City to continually be challenged, disrupted, to include the hopes, the wants, the needs, and the dreams of all people.
Whoops. Oh, sorry. Let me share that screen again.
While Mary's pulling that up, I'll introduce the both of us. I am Jen Nussbeck, the co-director, along with Mary Wooldridge, who is co-directing this. We also sit on the board for Parade of Hearts. And just want to say thank you for taking time tonight to hear about this exciting endeavor, but also have a place where the Kansas City Artists Coalition, Marissa, Jessica, and everyone that has helped bring you guys together, and the many conversations we've had prior to this call, the guidance, support, suggestions, recommendations. I just first want to say thank you to Casey, AC, and all of those, some of the familiar faces as you guys were coming in. Even you guys have played a part in helping us bring all of this together. So I would like to talk really first about how this came to be. And I have to get back to the pre-pandemic time. And that is the University of Kansas Health System wanted to put together an event that was around a spring event supporting their cardiac program, very similar to the event they put on in the fall called Treads and Threads that supports their cancer program. And then COVID-19 showed up. But with that, some silver lining conversations began. And in the room, there were a few key people that, with the help of the University of Kansas Health Systems, Bob Kendrick from Nigger Leeds Baseball Museum, Chase McAnulty from Charlie Hustle, Tucker Trotter from Dimensional Innovations, they said, we have to do something for the Kansas City region and help those who have been most impacted by the events of 2020. Thankfully, they put this together because now we all know we're well into 2021, and those that have suffered not just by the pandemic, but some extraordinary events that happened last year and into this year. We want to unite this region, and no better way than to bring our love affair for art to the public, but bring it to our region, and that being on both sides of the state line, both north and south, east and west, and come together, because we really do have a rich history of the heart. Mary, if you'll go to our heart slide, this is a very small depiction of what the heart has been over 100 years of a rich history that started back in the early 1900s. The railroad workers wore the heart on their lapels, identifying them that they were from Kansas City. There are many, many hearts that have been used over the years. Iconically, 1942, the Monarchs wore it on their jerseys. The city of Kansas City, Missouri used the heart as a promotional component, and as they sent out postcards to other states inviting people to come visit Kansas City. We are excited to also tell this rich history as we gear up for a spring 2022 Parade of Hearts. And with that, I want to talk just briefly about the mission and purpose of Parade of Hearts. This is a public art experience for our public, not only for us that are from and live in the region, but also those that come to visit Kansas City. We have a lot to showcase, whether that being neighborhoods, attractions, historical areas, and we want to highlight those ones that we're very familiar with, and also ones that have been undermarketed, areas that are underserved, that have gems of historic relevance. And we really want to showcase those hearts, as we're going to call them, heart neighborhoods, and invite people to experience those. While we do this, it is incredibly important to our mission is to give an extraordinary experience for those that are visiting the hearts. We also want to boost tourism and the local economy of where the hearts are placed, while raising money and support and getting those proceeds directly to those that have been really impacted by the events of last year and well into this year. But as we talk about the heart itself, and Mary, I'm going to have you skip that next slide and move to the next one. I really want to talk about something that we feel is extra special to this parade, and where the artist will have a really important component to this app. If you were here in Kansas City 21 years ago, you might be familiar with the Cow Parade. Let's say visually it's somewhat similar. These hearts are made of fiberglass. They're outdoor installations. What we didn't have 21 years ago were mobile phones. And with this, we want to accelerate not just the heart and getting people to the heart. What we want to do, and I'm going to explain this as if all of you are joining me, and we're going to visit a heart neighborhood at 18th and Vine. So the app is going to give me some direction of where to park or where to walk. There's some treasure hunting to it. Some people are familiar with how Pokemon Go was. Somewhat similar in that gamification side of it. But as we arrive at that first heart, the app will actually identify the design through facial recognition, and someone, whether that be the mayor of that area, or in this case, let's say Bob Kendrick, he's a board member and having the NLBM in the 18th and Vine district, Bob may welcome all of us to the Heart neighborhood at 18th and Vine. From there, we want our artists to play a big part in this role. And whether that's by video or voiceover, we want the artist to share with every visitor their inspiration of how this design came to be, the description, what they've named the design, and really connect with the visitors and draw them into your design. We also want to highlight the work you've done beyond this heart. And that is giving those visitors an opportunity to visit your website, find a link to a portfolio, and really give the artist of that heart as much amplification as we can. And we also, at that point, will talk about why the heart is placed where it is. Is there historical relevance? Is there something exciting happening in that area? And it becomes an educational component as well. And then finally, this is where the economic impact comes in. Area businesses will have the opportunity to come in and join the app, and through the geofencing setup, those area businesses can interact with those guests right then and there at the heart. Whether the Nick Ridley's Baseball Museum offers a buy one, get one free museum ticket, or if there is a restaurant inviting them in for a free appetizer, we want to encourage those traveling through the Heart neighborhoods to also patron our great businesses of the Kansas City region. So, and with that, I want to talk about those that are benefiting from the proceeds from Parade of Hearts. We are very proud that this event is organic. It is comprised of individuals, artists, coalitions, and people that truly believe there are a number of organizations and individuals, sole proprietors, and artists that have been impacted, decimated. The businesses are decimated. We want to get that funding right down to them. And so we are raising the money privately. It is a $3 million endeavor. And we are so proud to share we have raised $1.2 million of our $3 million objective. So we're very excited about that. We have 5 pillars of support: health and wellness, education, hospitality, tourism, our small minority-owned businesses, and our beloved arts and culture communities. Each of the beneficiaries were chosen because of several reasons. One, they could identify that their funding they'll receive from this can get directly down to those that have been impacted by the time we have the parade, it's going to be 24 months of impact. And I'm going to quickly highlight what they're using those proceeds for. University of Kansas Health System is going to focus on COVID patients that have long-term lingering heart effects from COVID. Mid-America Regional Council is going to focus on the 2,000 child care slots on both sides of the state line that still have yet to be filled as they closed those slots as we went to shut down last year. They also will be focusing on early childhood education support. AltCap, they are traditionally known for their lending to our locally owned small and minority owned businesses. They will be using their funds to be making grants. Those will not have to be paid back. Visit KC Foundation will be taking their proceeds and doing grants as well and getting those down to our local businesses in the hospitality and tourism industry, as well as our sole proprietors. And finally, I'm really proud to talk about this. As we looked to set a $3 million goal, there are many expenses to put on this very significant endeavor. We have an objective of getting 150 hearts with a stretch goal of 200 hearts throughout the Kansas City region. And with that, supporting our artists through a stipend, the fabrication costs, there were things that we really had to look at. And I will share with you guys at the beginning of the year, the artist stipend was established at $1,000. And we went back to the fabricator, to the board of directors, and asked everybody to tighten their belts. And just 60 days ago, we were able to double that. So the stipend will be $2,000 per artist design that's selected. And I'm so excited about that. The other thing is, if you were familiar with the cow parade, the clear coating, the weather protecting of that outdoor piece, that responsibility and cost was put onto the artist. We have also made a change that once the designs are complete, we will collect the hearts. And through the month of February next year, we will take care of that expense and make sure that they are Kansas City weather ready. I don't know how else to say it, but I know our springs can be tough. So, and then a final note, they are not a beneficiary, but it is important to mention Parade of Hearts entity is not a public charity. Therefore, we had to find a fiscal sponsor. And we felt it was important to work with someone within the arts community, and Arts KC is our financial sponsor, our fiscal supporter through this entire endeavor. So regulatory, fiduciary responsibility, they have been managing and will continue to all the way through the culmination of this. And with that, I'm almost finished. I want to recap the timeline real quick for everybody. As you know, we are currently in the process of calling for all of our incredible regional artists to submit designs right now through September 4th. Once that has come, the designs will be submitted to the jury selection panel. And I'm going to, Mary and I will talk about that detail a little bit later. But moving to once the designs are selected, artists will be notified in early October. And then we will start coordinating the pickup or delivery of these actual hearts in mid-October. From there, artists have 100 days to do their designs. At the end of January, we will coordinate to collect all of the hearts. And we will spend the month of February working with some awesome partners, such as our fabricator, Dimensional Innovations, and people that have worked, Zahner. They have worked in this world of outdoor fiberglass installation with various art pieces and feel that the month will give us all the ample time that we need before we put these out to display in early March. They're going to be on display from the beginning of March through the end of May. And I just have to note, at the beginning, mid-March, there are a lot of people that come to the Kansas City area for the Big 12 tournament from all over the states and the region. And why not give them a taste of what Kansas City region is all about and invite them to the Heart neighborhoods, patron in these areas. And so we purposely planned for this to launch at the beginning of March. We will collect all of the hearts at the end of May next year, and then they will go up for auction in June of 2022. And with that, I'm excited to turn it over to my super awesome co-director, as I call her, my better half, Mary Wooldridge.
Jen, you're way better than I. But we have a lot of fun together. That's the important part. So now I get to have the pleasure of getting into the heart information. And so this is a drawing of the hearts. The hearts are about 5 feet tall, 5 feet wide. They are fiberglass, as Jen mentioned. And they come on a fiberglass base that's like a clamshell base that will have a tray in it that will hold 4 70-pound bags of sand that will bring the total weight of the heart once installed to about 400 pounds. So, but the important part of this for the artist is it can come off the base. It can be moved easier. Without the base, it's probably right around 100 pounds. With the base, it's maybe 115 pounds. So I just want you to know that. So when you're creating your hearts, we took all of those considerations in when we were trying to design this. Some other important things. As we said, this is fiberglass. You'll see online at the application, there's lots of information on there about the mediums, that you can use. But I do want to address one thing. On the application, it says that it suggests that you use acrylic paint instead of oil paint. You can use oil paint, it just takes longer to dry. So depending on what you are doing, just take that into consideration. And we are open to anything you all want to do as long as it will withstand the weather. We, like Jen said, we will be coating these and do the anti-graffiti stuff at the end, but we've had a lot of questions about that. So just remember that as you're designing, that the weather elements will play a big role in this. Some other things that we need to address is corporate logos. We do not want corporate logos put on these. We may have a Chiefs or a Royals or something like that, but corporate logos can't be put on these because when we auction them off, that's very limiting to who would purchase those. These can be cut into, they can be punctured. There's information about that also on the website. And if you don't know the website, it's theparadeofhearts.com, and all of the guidelines and everything is there. But a few other information, you can paint, you can sculpt, you can transform, you can put anything you want on there, as long as it doesn't make the heart tip over. Everything has to be sturdy and stable. So just take that into consideration as you start your designs. There are KC letters that you can see here on one side, and they're recessed into the heart. Those can be incorporated into your design. They can be camouflaged. They're only on one side. But we do want both sides of the heart, all sides of the heart, to be designed. But we hope you'll embrace it. But if you don't, that's okay too. We're open to anything. Each heart will arrive with a coat of acrylic primer. So you won't need to prime them. They'll be ready to go. Just a reminder, this is an outdoor art experience, and there will be people climbing on them. There will be people standing next to them. You know, they'll be all over the place. So if you're going to have things sticking out or whatever, please consider children. And of course, I think we're all children at heart, but anyway, just keep that in mind as you're designing. Yes, let's see. As Jen mentioned, you can submit up to 3 designs. Only 2 of those would be selected, but you can submit up to 3 designs. And if 2 designs were selected, you would get the 2,000 stipend for each design. Let's see. We have, Jen alluded to this a little while ago. We have a panel. It's an independent panel that's diverse, has a lot of really great collection of people from that are not only artists, designers, but public people, just, you know, a wide variety of people that are going to be selecting the designs. We're excited about this. It's still being finalized, but that panel will be selecting, and Jen and I and the board will not be part of that process. The other thing that people are asking are, where are the hearts going to be placed? We're also having a separate panel that will be doing all of the heart placement. That will be another independent panel, and we're working on finalizing that as well. But as Jen said, we want to, you know, we have a lot of really great historical places that we want to highlight, but we also have some really cool hidden gems. So we're also going to ask the public, where would you like your hearts placed? Where would you like to see hearts? So that's all coming, but we're working on it, and I did want to address that. Artists are expected to pick up their hearts and design them in their own studios at this time. However, we are working to create a space or to hopefully help with transportation if needed. But right now they are responsible to pick up and design in their own studio and also deliver the finished product back to a designated location. Let's see. Okay, one other thing. We've had a lot of questions on the copyright language that's used on the application. We have listened to a lot of leaders in the art community, and we are revisiting that. We were advised at the beginning that that's what we should do from our attorneys. We've gone back to them, and we are revising that. And in the next 24 hours, you will see more of a licensing agreement instead of a copyright agreement. And so we hear you, we're working on it, and we want to make it right for everybody. So we're working on that, and that will be available in the next 24 hours. I think that's it. The next thing that we wanted to talk about, though, just so that you all know, we have some really, really, really incredible support in our community. And we wanted to show you some of the companies. These are our community partners. This is the first page. The presenting sponsors right now are Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas City and J.E. Dunn. And they came into this early on because they believed in it, and they know the importance and what this could do to the Kansas City community. The Grand Marshal level, you have C. Charlie Hustle, Dimensional Innovations, KBP Investments, Price Chopper, Rally House, U.S. Engineering. Lee and Tyler Notberg run U.S. Engineering, and so that they're, I think you all probably know a lot about them. They support the art community a lot. Some
Hey,
other
Mary, before you go to the next slide, I would like to just mention, you know, there have been without mention public art experiences in the past that might have been underfunded. And Mary and I are really just wanting to showcase this is all privately funded. And we are very grateful for that support. However, all of these commitments have come in knowing full and well they could not influence the art, and they were not going to influence where these hearts would be placed. Our mission, purpose, and objectives were to be met first. And I think it's really important to mention we can't do it without the funding, but we also know, as Mary and I have talked about this, we're calling it a separation of church and state. Is we want the artist and the designs to go through the jury selection panel without influence, and the heart locations without sponsor influence. It's incredibly important. Now, does it make sense that as the plaza would be a sponsor, and if they have a sponsored heart, they don't get to pick their design? But if it makes sense, then those would probably be aligned, but it's up to that committee. And that heart placement committee is comprised of people from throughout the region. And I just want to emphasize, when we say region, this is beyond Kansas City, Missouri proper. This is from as far north as our Liberty, Gladstone neighbors. And I am not singling them out. I'm just giving a reference geographically into Wyandotte County, Johnson County, into Jackson County, even eastern Jackson County. That is a large region that we call the Greater Metropolitan of Kansas City. And we're very proud to work with people from, whether you go visit KC on the Kansas side to Inglewood Arts and Independence. There are people that are making up our heart placement committee that know their areas best, and they collectively will make the decision of where the hearts go. So Mary, sorry, I just wanted to jump in and kind of identify where we were financially and geographically.
No, that's awesome. And Jen is actually, she's done more of the fundraising than I have, so she knows way more people and the information behind this. So Jen, if you want to talk about this one too, you're welcome to.
It's a traditional sponsorship level, and there's some standard fulfillment, tickets to events. It is also an opportunity for sponsors to engage through the mobile app, but really this was about what the next slide Mary's going to show you. We did not give them all the fancy stuff as sponsor fulfillment. What we are saying is, what part will you play in writing the history books and setting a national example for how the Kansas City region united after what will be 2 very long years? And I think that is a proud moment to say we're very grateful for the support thus far. So I think what we'd like to do is pause, take Jessica, give us some guidance on questions that are coming in.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Sorry, you guys getting that echo? What I see popping up here in the chat box a couple times is artists are asking how detailed their proposal needs to be, like how directly in does the proposed image have to look like the object that comes out in the end? Does it have to be an exact match? Is it more of like an idea and things change when you're making art? How are you going to hold people accountable to that? What does that look like?
I'll take that one. The panel will review everything as is submitted, and then once again, as it is finished. So of course, we don't expect whatever you present, whatever you submit to be exactly the same. It can be a sketch. You don't have to use paint. It's pretty simple. And the template I know we've had a lot of feedback on not having a downloadable template. We kind of did that on purpose a little bit, but we will have one. It may be on there now. I asked for that to be done, but anyway, it will be done in the next 24 hours. The template is just on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and it is the shape of the KC heart. You can use that or just draw a heart and show us what your designs are. Just remember to submit front and back designs. So we have front and back with the KC on one side only. And the other thing I wanted to say is we are very proud to say that this is an open selection. That means this is for all ages. We're inclusive of every race, gender, age, everything. So we want to make sure that everybody is included. Everybody can show what they have. We want everybody included in this. So we encourage you to get those submissions in.
Definitely. I have another question here. Once they are finished with their heart, are they allowed to drop it off or have it picked back up, or do they have to hold on to it until the end of January?
No, we'll figure that out. We can let them know. We will give to all of the selected designs and artists, we will have information that goes out with them with the heart to give all those guidelines. We will have a place.
Okay, great. Here, I'm going to go through these. Okay, people are, I think, kind of confused about the location and the art. What I heard you guys saying is create the artwork that you want to create, and the selection panel will select what locations they think align with that. Is that correct? But it's not like the locations do not get to pick what heart goes in front of their building.
The jury selection panel is choosing the designs. Once those are done, it is a separate committee that will be choosing where hearts go. And Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, we're not supplying them with the designs. We're identifying neighborhoods, and then we'll give them designs that would align. We have to identify neighborhoods first, and then the art will align with that area. So if someone were to submit a design and they also had a thought of where maybe a particular design or heart could go, when we do the call to the public and ask for your suggestions, submit that. Let us know why that heart should be placed there. We are ready for all that feedback on where the hearts will go, but that has not been determined yet. I hope that helps.
I'd also add to that, let's just say that they create a heart for an area that isn't necessarily submitted and it's or chosen. If the heart has a special story, the artist can tell that story through the app, wherever it's placed. So the story can be told anywhere it's placed.
Would you recommend they kind of include that narrative in the application?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
And if we don't capture it up,
big part of it.
And if we don't capture it up front, we certainly will be going back and asking for that information. So yes.
Perfect.
On the front end.
Someone wants to know if there's a form or an application to fill out to volunteer to be on that site selection committee.
Oh.
So what we will do is we'll provide, Jessica, can we drop our email addresses into the chat?
Yep, I'll do that right now.
And yes.
My hesitation on that, just in case anybody saw that, was that we're in deep in with conversations, but we are certainly open to anyone that wants to volunteer. So yes, contact us.
Let's see what else I have. Oh, I know that when we spoke, you guys were talking a lot about the app, and I think it's like such an incredible opportunity in talking about how that would serve the business that it's maybe placed in front of, but also if an artist participating in this call has an idea for a program based around their heart or a way that they would like to activate that space during that 3 months. Do you suggest that they put that in this application, or is that a conversation for later down the road after their heart is selected? Once they're kind of working on it, they can then reach out to you about that?
I'm so glad you brought that up. So I know, Jessica, you got my back. So the cool thing about this is we not only want to engage the visual artists, we want to engage performing artists, any artists. We want pop-up events to happen around the hearts. We want all of these things to happen. So yes, contact us, not through this process, but through email. Contact us with ideas. We'd love to hear them. We're, you know, we just hope there's all kinds of artists doing all kinds of wonderful things throughout this region.
Wonderful. We have a question here. How do you envision being inclusive to children, perhaps people with disabilities too, who might not have the resources for pickup, drop off, and studio space?
And that is where we want to accommodate. I think we will do whatever we can to fully accommodate. And just for example, we have are receiving a submission from a young artist who is both blind and deaf that will need assistance. And we will, as we make contact for designs that are selected, as we reach out to each artist, as Mary said, that packet will be ready, and it will also be offering any special accommodations that we need to make. It's one great thing of having some great sponsored community partners. They are all offering to be of that assistance.
That's wonderful. Ooh. Someone wants to know, do we also submit a base design, or is the base seen as a separate item? Is that something that all of them will be the same? How does that work?
That they can create the base as well. The base will have a plaque on it highlighting the sponsor, and I believe the artist as well, but maybe the artist is just through the app. I can't remember. Do you know that, Jen?
The sponsors through the app?
No, the sponsors on the plaque.
Oh, just the sponsors on the plaque, correct.
Okay.
No, our highlight is definitely the artist and the inspiration of their design. That is, with all due respect, the sponsors, you're getting a plaque. We need to highlight the design.
Yeah. But yes, the base is certainly can be part of the design. It doesn't have to be part of the design, but yes.
Okay, great. I collected a couple questions this week. Is there any plan for, like, talked about the hearts ultimately weighing about 400 pounds. Is there any plan for, like, vandalism or like theft or security around these objects?
So we have been consulting with lots of people about this, and we're asking the artists to be available on their heart. If it's severely damaged, that they will come and fix it. We'll take care if it's got a hole in it or whatever. We'll repair it to where they just have to fix whatever. There's not going to, there were, like during the cow parade, there were, if you had, like somebody put cow horns off of it and a horn was torn off, but that's an easy repair. It's the artwork that we are most concerned about. So we will be asking the artists to be available to help repair, but we hopefully won't have a lot of those. And we will have an area where the hearts will be taken and repaired. We'll do as much as we can. We have people available to do that, but we want to make sure the artist's design remains the artist's design, in other words. So
that's wonderful. And kind of circling back to materials, say an artist is typically a 3D artist or a sculptor, and they kind of envision adhering different materials to the fiberglass heart. They can talk about that material use in their proposal, correct? And if DI or the fabricators have ideas for other materials, will that be able to be like a back and forth dialogue?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the only thing I will stress is the weather. just make sure that anything you adhere to the heart is going to sustain the weather elements. So.
Wonderful. If anyone has any questions, feel free to keep dropping them in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. That was my whole list of questions. And we'll definitely, as that template, it's not on the website yet. As that rolls in, we'll definitely share that out through our KCAC channels. So everyone here tonight, keep an eye out for that. And then this recording will also be shared through our YouTube, and we'll be pushing it out and stuff for people who missed tonight, or if you just want to kind of revisit this when you're filling out the application. But if anyone else has questions, there was questions like, can you submit? I know that you can either choose to include the KC, or you can choose to cover it up in your design, and the KC is only on one side. But I have had some questions. Do you have to do the same design on the front and back, or can you say my front heart is a red pattern and the back of the heart is a blue pattern, as long as you're descriptive in your application?
Yes.
Does that work? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. There's lots of questions about the studio space. I think you guys did address that if someone needs a studio space that will accommodate the heart, you guys are helping to navigate that.
We're hoping to find someone, if anybody knows of any studio space available.
No, we were even thinking at KCAC, but the fact our stairs is the only way to get down to the studios, and we were like, that's going to be a little tricky. Okay, this says, do you know if the structures can handle nails, or is drilling the only puncture appropriate for the material? I would say put that in your application. And
yeah, put that in the application.
Yeah.
Or email me and I'll get an answer for you.
Yeah, another question, you do not have to be a professional artist, whatever that means. You do not have to be that. You can submit your artwork, come one, come all. You don't have to have a degree or.
No, and another question that I had was, can groups of people design a heart? Absolutely. So we may have a teacher that has a classroom full of children that want to design something. They're welcome to do that. The only thing is when you sign that agreement, the license agreement, everybody is, part of that agreement.
Yeah, so, and as that gets edited or whatever you guys land on for the agreement, definitely forward that on, because we can push that out as well. Because I know I get a lot of questions about, like, if you guys were going to own that artwork once it was on the heart, or if people would have the ability to use that artwork on other,
Yeah, basically what we're just wanting is to be able to use it during the parade.
Event for promotions and marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, we can definitely push that out and clarify that for anyone that still has questions about it. Yes, it says, can two people from the same household participate? I would assume so, yes. Is there a plan to make any merchandise from the heart designs?
Yes, we are working on that. All of the merchandise sales will go back to the beneficiaries. And so we are working on that. That's not been finalized as of today.
Okay, great. They have a lead for you for a studio space here. TJ, who runs the bunker, I can send you their information here. It says he has a studio space and a covered outdoor fenced area where people could work. So
awesome.
I'll send that to you guys. Yeah. And just to clarify on that merchandise question, so if, say, a heart was made, this rainbow heart, and they wanted to make a rainbow, would that be the like a t-shirt, merchandise, stuff like that? Would the artist get any cut of those sales of merchandise, or would that be a one-off payment of your heart design for the actual object?
It is there. The revenue of any merchandise goes to our beneficiaries. So this is a straight pass-through that is an equitable split with them.
Okay.
But the cool thing is they get to be part of helping so many people. It's awesome.
Yes. Okay, someone wants to know, I guess this copyright is a big topic. Can you make your own merchandise of your heart during this event?
No.
No, we have established a merchandising and licensing flow. But I do want to say, let's figure it out. Let's talk about it. If you guys get to a place of your design's been selected, and let's have that conversation. Many artists, businesses, even Price Chopper has asked and expressed thoughts and ideas, and we just want to make sure everyone feels included in these conversations, and knowing ultimately this is we have 5 beneficiary groups to support. So yes, please let us know your thoughts, and we'll work through this.
Great. Yeah, let's I designed a heart and wanted that the proceeds from that to go to AltCap, because I really want to support other small businesses in town. And I had an idea for that. I could pitch that idea to you guys during this process.
Just email us and let's start that conversation. That would be great.
That's wonderful. Thanks for staying so open-minded about that, guys. Okay, we have another question here, and I think you guys did cover this, but we can reiterate. They're asking, is the cost of any protective coating included in the stipend, or will it be covered from a different budget? And what I heard is that you guys have actually assumed that cost, and the event will be paying for and handling the coating of the hearts. So once they are picked up, there will be a whole nother month where they will go back to DI, I'm assuming, and you guys will be coating them and weatherproofing them there.
Or somewhere.
Or somewhere.
Correct. But yes, we're taking that on.
Perfect. So to my understanding too, the $2,000 per heart will cover the initial artwork on the heart, and then if any damages ensue, you guys will help to repair, and then that stipend is also kind of covering the 3 months that the hearts are kind of out in the world also, and in case it needs to get touched up or something like that happens.
Correct.
Great. Let's see, are we missing anything? I'm trying to rack my brain. Here we go. I feel like this has been really thorough. I feel like we've touched on everything. Definitely, I put Mary and Jen's email in here, and then I know on the application there's also a general email for questions. Oh, here's one.
I can kind of take this a little bit, and I think this also goes back to a question I don't know that we answered. I want to clarify, Arts KC is not a beneficiary, because someone asked, what will Arts KC be using their funds for? They're not listed as a beneficiary. We are giving them a grant to manage our fiduciary and fiscal management. So that would be a question for Arts KC, but they are not technically a beneficiary. I think that there's probably many industries, and I think that it was very difficult and challenging conversations. But I do want to recognize that with the $3 million, we have about $1.7 million between stipends, heart fabrication, repair management. There's a lot of expenses. We have allocated, if we do 200 hearts, that's $400,000 we want to give back to the arts community through stipends, just that alone. So we feel that is our investment, which will be far more than any of these beneficiaries get, in an equitable split. So yes, we feel like the arts communities, for whatever reason, were overlooked in this past 18 months. But for us, that's one of our biggest missions, is to support you guys, and this is our way to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is the biggest grant to the most artists I've ever seen in Kansas City. I don't think there's ever been a grant that has awarded 150 up to 200 artists at one time. So I think that's a great achievement. I'm really excited about it. Yes, the design can be the same on both sides. Had that come up a couple times. Let's see. Oh, and we have the phone number here for TJ at the bunker, so I'll pass that along to you guys.
Thank you so much, by the way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we are almost at time, you guys. So if you have any last minute questions, definitely squeeze them in here or reach out over the next couple weeks. The deadline is September 4th, so it is coming up here soon. And again, we will be recording this and sharing it and spreading it all about, and reach out to me at KCAC or Jen and Mary this evening. And we want to get these applications in because it's a really great opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for all the great questions. And again, Jessica, thanks for being so welcoming, managing this. We know it's a lot, but we also are really excited to invite all of you in and make ourselves available to answer further questions beyond this. So thank you all.
Thank you. Everyone have a lovely
Thank you.
evening.
Thank you. Thank you.